Welcome to Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, your guide to the TV show Gotham and everything Batman. It's been a while. I am Phil, and with me is my Harvey Bullock himself, Tyler Patrick.
Hey Phil, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Up. Solomon decided to wake up really early this morning. So, after a while you just realize he's not going back to bed and might as well stay up and start my day off as, before the sun and the roosters and everything.
Everyone with young kids. Man, we've all been there with young kids.
Yes, exactly. But it's good to be back talking Gotham.
For 3 episodes and they're off again till April.
Which is so weird. I mean, I understand the break. Mm-hmm. And I mean, last season we got that nice, really clean break to where the second half was, Dr. Hugo Strange and it started with Mr. Freeze. The first half was all Theo Gallivan. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember, did they change the name, the subtitle of the season after the break? Because at first it was Rise of the Villains, but was it still Rise of the Villains when it returned?
I think they changed it, and they might change it this year, but I think they're saying the end of this 3-episode arc is their mid-season finale.
See, that's what I was looking at, because I was like, it has these 3 episodes still coded as Mad City.
Yeah, it's weird. I think that they're saying this one's there. It's just their scheduling's very weird. Because they're definitely over halfway. But Mad City Ghosts. Right. That's right on the nose.
About this episode was really cool. We got to see some familiar faces.
Mm-hmm. And
I love the way this series is filmed. Mm-hmm. Like the lighting and the way that they do everything, like when they're in Oswald's home mansion is awesome. And so I always look forward to it visually. And of course, all the fun throwbacks with the old technology is always great. Like we saw a reel-to-reel in this episode.
Oh, did you see the TVs?
Oh yeah, the TVs are great. I think it's cool though, after a while.
I was looking for the big knobs on the TVs.
I was waiting for when we had our little shot of the family at home for the dad to be like, it's on all 3 channels.
Yeah.
Like, whatever shall we do, family?
That's not true. When I was a kid, I think before we got cable, we had 4 or 6 channels, something like that.
Oh yeah, there was more with bunny ears. And then there was always the UPN channel or whatever that's on channel 50 something.
Yeah.
You get it in, but you got to go find it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what we had. We had ABC, NBC, CBS, and then we had 2 local ones. Yeah. There was 53 what became our Fox station when I watched Gotham on, and then one other one.
Yep. I think it was the good old, where it was a weird channel where it was UPN, WGNT, and then later on it had the Seed or the WB on it. Mm-hmm. It was 3 networks on one station, and then eventually they merged.
Yeah.
Because that was confusing. But let's get into this episode, Ghosts. What was your initial reaction of this episode?
It was interesting, but they kind of spoiled the ending for me about Oswald's father, because I saw the actor names at the beginning and I recognized all of them, so I was like, okay, so that's probably who the ghost is, and it was.
Yeah, see, I'm like that almost every show, but luckily when we were starting to watch this one, Janine and I were talking, and I kind of missed some of the credits, and I wasn't paying attention to them. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, can we just hold the actor names till the end or something, because that gives stuff away.
Exactly.
Or if the actor is supposed to be a twist, hold it off till the end. But it starts off with that really cool shot of Jim walking through the funeral, or walking up to the funeral. Mm-hmm. And I get what Jim did, But you know he had to have some sort of anger and frustration, so he made sure it was a kill shot to Mario. He didn't hesitate. I mean, yes, Mario's about to kill his woman, so of course you're going to defend her. But you know, he I don't think he showed like he might have been able to like wound him, you know, take him down, not kill him, but Jim was out for it, I think.
Well, I mean, in Jim's defense, you don't know what that virus was going to do too. Anything but a headshot might not have worked.
True. I mean, he was like, he's seen enough Walking Dead. He was like, I'm taking this guy out.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah,
even just guys like on PCP or something, I think you can pump a couple shots into them and they're going to keep coming. Let alone the Tetch virus.
exactly, but nobody cares about that. Everybody blames Jim. I would have been like, all right, Lee, I'm here to save you, but first I'm gonna let Mario stab you at least once, just to show you that he's psychotic and trying to kill you. Then I'll save you, because that's the only way it seems like it's gonna work that you'll believe me that he's trying to kill you.
Yeah, but you're thinking that in a split second because that was like a split second decision.
Oh yeah, I know, but like it's one of those things where you know he made a decision to save her, and she already knows that he's gonna pick to save her, but then she just gets mad at him like, you killed my husband. I'm like, your husband was about to stab you, violently kill you with a knife, and Jim saved you, but you know you're just gonna yell and complain. But that's none of my business. You know, however you want to live your life, whatever, Lee.
I mean, Jim wanted to apologize. That was good, but I don't think the funeral was the time for him to show up.
No, God, no. You do it somewhere public, like, you know, the mayor's office or something, where they can't kill you. uh, and you don't sit there and, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill. You wait and, like, allow them to grieve, you know, give them their moment. I thought there was a lot of depth with this episode. They put a lot in it. We have, you know, that storyline going on where Lee just goes psychotic for a little bit until she goes to visit Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Barnes as a villain. I'm like, release that guy. Put him back out on the street.
Oh, I could see him getting out sometime in the second half of the season.
I want to see him go nuts and, you know, become like the executioner or the judge. You know, something like that where he's just...
But that has to be the name, the executioner, because he was just like judge, jury. He got that big voice like executioner.
She'd have been funny if she was like, you're more like the Thing, and walked out.
Oh, jeez. You're some kind of thing.
We got...
See, no more drum roll. Now we have the gong.
If I start saying test your might and fight, you'll know why. I blame the gong. Now, another one of our plots, we'll hold off on one for a moment, but what do you think about the whole, since we talked about a little bit, like Eddie's plot using like the ghost and the imagery of his father to get to Oswald?
It seemed very it was an excellent plot, but it seemed like a old something you'd read in an old book.
Yeah, I mean, I like that Clayface, spoilers, came back and was the one imitating his father.
Oh, yeah.
Because at first I was like, is it really a ghost? Because if that is, that's just too much. But no, the Clayface angle is awesome. The way they were kind of revealed the behind the scenes of how everything played out at the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Was awesome. My crazy Barbara got her scene where she's just having fun. And... you know, I like how they set up the new assistant, and Oswald was just losing his junk. I mean, I kind of wish they had drug out a little bit longer before Edward found out it was Oswald. A little bit more tension there, or if Edward had stayed as chief of staff, just to build that tension more instead of him leaving, and having Oswald like feel like he got away with it. But Eddie was secretly working behind the scenes on him. Even like tweaking the mayor's numbers so it makes Oswald look good, and then all of a sudden it just turns bad.
I don't know. I just, I don't think Eddie wanted to see him. Plus, I don't know, maybe, that gives Oswald that sense of he did get away with it,
And what about that fun little interview that he got to do?
Oh man, I saw the first time that I talked to that reporter. I was like, "Is that Gossip Gertie?"
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that, but you're right. That could have been. That would have been sweet. Just as a throwback. Just to be like, hey, look, Gossip Gertie. And then she could have yelled, "Oh, Bruce Wayne," and just ran off to talk to a child. That's a Batman Forever reference if you didn't know. Not the child part.
But yeah, and then, so they help. So thanks to his father's ghost, quote unquote, he loses his mind in the middle of the interview.
Yeah, I feel like some plot lines they go too fast with, and some they take their time with.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of would have liked to have seen him as, the mayor, the people's mayor. Everybody loves the mayor, but you kind of see how he's playing both sides. You know,
mm-hmm.
The mayor looks good, but he's fiddling with everything because he's controlling crime at the same time. So I don't know. It works. I mean, maybe like later when I go back and rewatch the show, get to watch it straight through without breaks, that I'll actually like the pacing a little bit better with some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always so hard to tell when you have these breaks and you kind of forget little things. And
I mean, I like that whole storyline, but did you find it a little unbelievable during the interview where his father's walking through and he seems to be the only one who sees him?
Yes, that's when I was more like, okay, are they really trying to do a ghost thing?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Is he hallucinating?
I was like, because then that was my next thought was, well, maybe like Eddie rigged his drink or something and spiked his drink and he was hallucinating. Because I'm like, well, that would make more sense, especially because nobody else sees this. But obviously that's not what it was. It was Clayface in disguise. So that was, I mean, how about how brutally he just murdered his new assistant, the birthday boy?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's always there.
He was like, boom, just whack, whack. That's what he was thinking. I mean,
oh, yeah.
And then when he goes back to get the body and it's gone.
Everything's gone, cleaned up.
He's losing his mind. What would have been even better is if he would have went back and his assistant was there because it was Clayface had changed into his assistant.
That would have been good.
And was, what I'm saying? Like he was just like, oh, hey, Mayor, don't you have an interview? And then like he's really freaking out. So I'm just helping him unravel. And then Clayface could have been like his assistant going forward.
Yeah, but I was going to maybe now they want him to sweat it because he's like, did I kill him? If I did, where's the body? Who has the body?
So, I mean, that's kind of that subplot in this episode.
I love but I love we got Paul Rubens too back, to play the father kind of.
And I love that he's playing the dad. It's just he was the dad of two different versions of Penguin. But it works, and they look well together.
Oh yeah, I think on the live tweet I said I was just waiting for Oswald to say, "Dad, you're dead," and him to go, "I know you are, but what am I?"
And then him just like, what? I mean, I could see it with how creepy and like crazy Clayface is. Like I could see him just doing his own little like Pee-wee.
But what about the let's get back to Jim Gordon.
Okay, can I just say with Jim in this episode, my favorite character was Zaz.
Oh my god, Zaz was so good.
He's like, hey, I'm just here as a messenger, man.
I know. He's like, the Dawn's gonna give the order one day. He's like, you're gonna die, and then he's like, oh, by the way, nice shot on Mario. None of us liked him.
I know. I was laughing just how he's like cordially, hey, do you mind if I help myself? Like he's drinking some milk and everything, and
the best was the best was at the end when Falcone called off the hit, and he's like, Zaz, go home, it's done. He's like, okay, boss, and just walks out.
I know. I'm like, he was like, or like when Harvey's like, he's like, Zaz got a hit on me, and Harvey's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I didn't know when it was good. I was like, Jim, why don't you just tell me you didn't know when it was gonna happen? Like, they just told you it was gonna come at some point.
Because it's my business, and Harvey's like, well, it's kind of mine too, because I'm always standing next to you.
Exactly. I'm like, Jim, you're not always as alone as you try to make yourself out to be. You're not Batman. Even though you don't know who Batman is, but still. You're not the one man reign of terror on crime.
But that guy they followed from the morgue, who was like kind of running that Joker summer camp, I think was he in the Dark Knight movie? Was that the cop?
Yeah.
The Joker's guy who was the cop who Harvey Dent interrogated?
I'm like 90% sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was actually just rewatching that movie, and I was actually going to look it up to reference.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name, but yeah. He was also an Ant-Man.
Yes.
So, okay, so I like the idea of like the Jokers as a gang.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was cool. Like how they're all kind of like praising Jerome. So I'm completely cool with that. But what I don't really care for is the pseudo Dr. Frankenstein.
And what happened to Hugo Strange? I thought it was him bringing everyone back.
He didn't get arrested. He just disappeared, right?
No. He was locked. It looked like he was locked up somewhere when Fish talked to him in like what, the first or second episode this season. It looked like he was locked up somehow, but I don't know. I mean, unless they work for Hugo or they just found his notes or something. I don't know.
And yes, I checked it. That is the guy from The Dark Knight who's playing Dwight Pollard.
Yes.
His name is David. I cannot pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try. I do not want to butcher his good name. But I'm glad that Fish isn't around. Like I'm just, me, I'm always enjoying Fish not being on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a much better film not having her of a TV series. So thank you, people who make this show, for not having Fish.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just weird. It's like she was dying. Is she dead yet?
You can what do you call it? You can kill her off screen and just talk about it later. I can deal with that.
And it's like Hugo. We haven't seen Hugo since like I said, the first or second episode this season, I don't think.
Yeah, and he was such a strong character. And then he's just kind of faded. And I mean,
unless
granted, I don't know.
Unless BD Wong's just busy or something.
Maybe. He's making Jurassic World too. So I don't know. I mean, there was that whole outbreak of ending. I feel like we have a lot of things that should come back around, like other Bruce, the bat-looking thing that Jim fought out the window from Indian Hill. So I don't know. We still have this 3-episode arc, and then things are going to change. I'm really not looking forward. I mean, I am, and I'm not looking forward to next week's episode, but that's next week, so we'll talk then.
I don't mind the whole Jerome thing, but don't make him the Joker.
I don't mind the Jerome thing. Don't make him Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, well, they kind of have to bring him back.
Well, I mean, come on, this is pseudoscience here. I don't know. They create the T virus, and it heals him and brings him back to life. They find a way to replicate something. I mean, Fish is a mutant of some sort now with powers, and Jerome looks like he just escaped a really bad low-budget horror movie.
Well, maybe that's the whole thing. I mean, it was Hugo who brought Fish back. Maybe because it's these guys and not Hugo, it's not like a perfect process.
And I'll go with that. Like, I'm cool with that. I like the idea. I've settled on the idea that Jerome inspires these people who make like a Joker gang, and then eventually the quote-unquote Joker arises from that.
It has like a Batman Beyond vibe, where like this gang like worships the Joker.
Exactly, and I'm fine with that. Unless Bruce gets injected with the same thing that Poison Ivy did, and she ages up, and then he can become Batman.
Man, I don't think that kid needs that, man. All he needs is work out in the gym a little bit, man. And he's tall enough, it seems already.
Oh yes, puberty, the
Man,
great and powerful.
man, both him and Selena look like they've had growth spurts over the last year.
Oh yeah, okay. So we'll get to their story because I made some notes about that there. But just make sure there's anything else with Jim and that whole subplot of with Jim and Harvey and Joker.
What?
They've announced that Harley's supposed to show up this season.
I saw that. I really didn't get a chance to read it. I don't know if they were saying it's going to be the actual Harley or just like an early version. You know, like someone's kind of Harley until Harley.
So I'm like, is she gonna be like 12? Like 11? Because that would make more sense.
Is she gonna be Barbara?
You know, at one point I was okay with that idea. Because I think she would do well, but I don't know. With this show, sometimes it's just like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to just rolling with it and enjoying for what it is. So let's jump back to the main focus: Bruce and Alfred with Selena and Selena's mom. Do we ever get a name for Selena's mom?
Yeah, I think they said it. I think that guy in the hotel said it later. I think it's Maria or something.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he says his name was Cole, I think. I'm really hoping that two things. One, he's not part of a setup that they're playing at Selena to get money or something from Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Or the court hired her to come back and steal the statue back or something. It's like insurance. Or two, I hope he's not Selena's dad. Let's just leave Selena's dad as a mystery.
Unless it's Falcone.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just leave it as a mystery.
Yeah.
We don't need to have it answered. Let's just leave it vague and a mystery. But that the actress playing,
but I don't know,
Selena's mom.
You think something's gonna happen between Selena's mom?
Alfred wants to. Man, I was sitting there making jokes the whole time with Jania as we were watching it because I'm like, Alfred's like pretty like he's like, well, I lost out on Dr. Tompkins. I'm gonna get in on some of this action. He's like, Miss Kyle, let me make you some more food. Around the mansion.
Yeah, I know. After she stuck her hand in his pocket for that watch.
He was like, good thing you just grabbed my watch.
I love Selena even had the line. She's like, oh yeah, this guy's great. He's got a wicked right cross too, or something.
It's like an easy mark. Take his watch and his wallet.
All right now.
Alfred's like, good time. But yeah, I don't trust Selena's mom.
Oh, of course not. I mean, that shifty guy shows up. There's something going on.
So there's some context clues in here. So Kat's supposed to be 16 right now?
I believe so, yeah, because she said their mom was gone for 11 years and said something about a 5-year-old. Yeah, so, yeah, she should be 16.
So does that make Bruce is like 16?
I'm trying to remember. That's what I was trying to remember during this episode. When they started, I was trying to remember if she was like, I don't know, at least a year or two older than him.
See, that's the same thing I was trying to figure out. Because I'm like, okay, where does that whole fall?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a great scene where she gets the shoebox full of all of like the baby pictures and stuff of Selena's that she had saved.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Selena's dad is like a Falcone, if not Falcone himself, which would be fine, whatever. And the mom was sent away and put into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
She was witness protection. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Something. Just don't ruin it, Gotham.
Yeah. Oh, but while we're here, anyone who likes Batman Catwoman, the last 2 issues of Batman, there was a good 2-part story, Batman Catwoman story.
Are you talking about the I Am Suicide run or the right after it?
It's right after it, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out because I was reading the I Am Suicide part.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Catwoman when it started, like in the New 52, like the first trade volume and the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think around the third, maybe the third was good. I don't know. But either the third or the after that, I just really didn't like where they took it. And it just got I was done with it. So it's good to see some good Catwoman stories coming back around.
Mm-hmm. But
here, Phil, let me ask you a question. You just stole this priceless, so to speak, artifact. There's a clan of rich and powerful people that want it.
Yes.
And you're talking about hiding it, but you hear a knock at your door. And where do you put it? In the hall on a chair near a window.
Oh yeah, I had that thought. I was like, as soon as they got home, why didn't they just put it in the cave?
I'll put it in the cave, locking that junk up.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's out of sight anyway. I mean, it's a secret door. Not everyone's gonna know it's there.
And they didn't even see, it's not like it was put there and Bruce noticed the light hit it and revealed some sort of Indiana Jones style map.
Hmm.
It would have been better off just to put it directly in the cave.
Yeah.
And then when they bring it out or whatever, light hits it or something. Because I'm just like, a Talon could just slip through the window and grab it. Simple as that. Bruce.
I mean, hell, Selena's mom, somebody could have just taken it.
But I mean, that wraps up pretty much this episode. How do you feel about it?
It was good. Sometimes I was just like, man, this show's going here. But this episode, maybe it's because it's been gone for a while. Like, it felt I'm waiting to. I hope they don't mess up Jerome, but I'm just like, I'm ready to see what comes next.
Yeah, me too. I liked it. It felt good to be back. I liked where they went with Penguin and Riddler stuff. I wonder if Eddie will actually officially start calling himself Riddler or something like that'll happen. Because I heard some sort of rumor about more of a suit he's going to have. So we'll see where that goes.
Oh, hey, I found I found the short thing online about the whole Harley Quinn thing.
Okay. What we got?
It says executive producer John Stevens told TV Guide that Harley Quinn's precursor, in quotes, will arrive later this season and serve as the springboard for some presumably Jerome-laden shenanigans in season 4. We might see her in episode 22, Stevens says, teasing the character will be the launching point for the main plot of the show's 4th season. So, guess where we're going in season 4, people?
Maybe, like we were saying, about the gang, the Joker gang or something.
Oh yeah, new leader.
Yeah.
Or Jerome gets a girlfriend.
See, I'm wondering if this 3-episode arc or whatever is going to be more of like the Jerome thing, and then he's going to get killed off, like permanently killed off and dealt with or something.
I don't know, but because he was talking about the end of the season, and he said Jerome-laden shenanigans, so I don't know.
Yeah, but come on, using that vague talk could be shenanigans based on Jerome. I mean, they basically were worshiping Jerome with his speech and everything, so that's Jerome shenanigans right there. So we'll see. Maybe there's a second Jerome that doesn't have a giant scar on his face like Frankenstein. He actually had a twin brother in the circus.
But
his name is Jack.
Jack Napier or Joe Kerr.
Call me Mr. Kerr. Joseph Kerr.
Oh, that's nuts. But yeah, no, before we leave, I just wanted to say I mentioned the Batman comics, Nightwing, always good every issue, and even the Red Hood. Red Hood's been good. I didn't think this current series was going to be any good, but Lil's talking into reading it, and it's great. I keep saying I think this is the best Jason Todd I've ever read.
See, I listened to you and Lil talk the other day about it, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to go read Red Hood and the Outlaws now.
I was gonna say, you can wait for the trade, because I think the last issue of the first arc just came out. So
there's some stuff I just really enjoy reading in trade, compared to single issues.
But yeah, I didn't think Red Hood was this series was gonna be any good. But yeah, this is like the best Jason Todd I've ever read. I didn't think
and that's saying a lot.
I didn't think the Bizarro stuff was gonna work, but it does.
I think Jason Todd sometimes is a really difficult sell.
Oh yeah, because these ever since he came back, it's like, do you paint him as a villain, an anti-hero?
And he's been both. I mean, when they did that whole launch of Batman and Robin with the Grant Morrison, where it was Dick and Damian.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Red Hood was straight up pretty much a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Until Battle for the Cow, and he kind of reformatted himself.
Oh yeah, basically everything pre-new 52, he was like straight up villain.
Which I don't know. I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of Jason being a villain, because it's more of Batman's failure. Like the Robin he couldn't say was brought back to be like his greatest enemy, so that's more of your anti-Batman.
Well, that's like
you guys were talking about like Prometheus trying to be like the bad version of a Batman. I think Red Hood is definitely more of that, and it has that emotional core connection. We won't even get into the whole Arkham Knight idea, because I called it from the beginning that it was Jason Todd. And they're like, oh no, it's a new character. Screwed up.
Yeah. But no, that's the other good thing about this new Red Hood series is that they play on that fact, because Jason Todd kind of goes undercover to get close to the Red Hood. So, he uses his rep as like, oh, well, you're not with Batman anymore. You're kind of a bad guy.
That's cool.
Throw in Artemis, and you have tons of fun.
Let's see what else is going on in the Bat world. Still waiting for that new Justice League trailer.
Yeah, I'm getting pictures.
We got a couple new images of the Justice League and Batman. We had the trailer drop for Injustice 2. And we saw Batman doing his Bat thing.
Oh, and then
in it, so that
yeah, I was gonna say Batman's gonna be in Justice League Dark any day now.
Yep, was there a new trailer for that? That came out. Might have been. They released an image for the Teen Titans Judas contract, which is so interesting that, like, I don't mind them doing connective, like, animated universe movies and then having the ones that are not. Like last year we got Bad Blood and Justice League vs. Teen Titans that were connected, and then we got Killing Joke, which was based on, and I thought the Judas contract was going to be like that, where it wasn't going to be connected, but now they're showing that it is connected, so it's not a direct adaptation of the Judas contract. So it makes me kind of wonder, like, does that take away from the story? What's your thoughts, Phil, on that?
I don't know. Just reading like the description, I had high hopes, but I think they're going with that version of the Titans, like from the previous movie, where like it's instead of Cyborg, it's Blue Beetle, and like animation, cartoon, or comic books, they've all been since New 52. They've taken Cyborg out of the Teen Titans. He was never a Titan. Which, if you want him in the Justice League, fine. But that's what I was telling Lilith yesterday. You need like that history of him coming from the Titans and interacting with everyone else, Beast Boy, Dick Grayson.
I think he could be that fun character that's kind of like he's in the Justice League, but he really feels like he doesn't belong in the Justice League, and when he's with the Titans, he feels more like he belongs. Where it's kind of like he's that older person, that middle, where he's too old for the Titans, but feels like he's too young for the Justice League. Because like even in if you look at the DC animated movie Justice League War, like it looks, they try to portray Vic Stone as a high schooler, but at times he feels more like he's playing college ball instead of high school ball. When because you have Billy Batson as like the kid. So I don't know. I think you could do something unique with his character where he's kind of this in between, where he kind of segues between the two teams. But I don't know. They're pushing Cyborg hard, and I get it. Like he's definitely a character that's more for today's era with all the technology that we have. Try to put some diversity into the Justice League and everything. So I'm not fighting it, but at the same time, it is kind of.
Oh no, that's what I said. I have no problem with him being in the league. I just wish they would have kept the history intact.
But that's all probably because it's all a certain blue person's fault that's going to be revealed here soon as we get back to that rebirth story. Now I feel I'm not as caught up on a lot of the Batman books and stories. Has there been any hint, anything about the whole Joker? Like, we were left on the cliffhanger that there was supposedly more than one Joker. Have we got any kind of follow up with that?
Nope. Heck no.
Dang it! Don't tease me like this, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Don't leave me hanging. I don't know. I think maybe they're holding on to that for a little bit, and they'll do something big with it.
Yeah, the only thing coming up, was it March or April? There's gonna be a crossover between the Batman book and the Flash book. I guess they're gonna start getting into some of that rebirth stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that we were like teased about, the Watchmen being part of it. So I'm cool with that. That's what I've been waiting to read.
Oh yeah.
So I say bring it on.
All right, is that it?
Just kind of going through my mind. Like I said, we had the Injustice trailer drop. We had the animation. If you haven't caught it yet, dear listeners, Justice League Action premiered.
Oh yes.
And I don't know how many episodes they aired or whatever. It's always hard to keep up with the current when it's on Cartoon Network because I feel like they put different stuff at different times. So, but I watched the first major episode, the 40-minute one they had released. It was cool. I like it. Check that out.
I think that's the only one they really put out because they put that out as one, and then I swear they re-released it as like 2 separate episodes.
Yeah, so, it's confusing. It's weird. So I'm just trying to think, and I think that's about it. I mean, there hasn't been any, real solid. There's been rumor speculation about the Batman solo movie. We won't talk any of that because it is just rumor and speculation. There's been no concrete evidence on that front. Nothing really coming from any other Batman forms. You got the comics pretty much solid and covered. So, yeah, I think that's it.
All right. So then, if you want to discuss any Batman-related things with us or bring up a topic that we're not thinking of, but I think we pretty much covered them, email us beforethebat@gmail.com. Facebook is Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast. Our Twitter is @BeforeTheBatPod. Check that out. I'm usually live tweeting when the show is new and live. And we're even on Instagram. Check out Before the Bat. And Tyler, where can people find you?
You can find me at JTYPatrick on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, and also on Krypton Report. We talk all things Superman, Supergirl, and one day whenever they get closer to the pilot order of the Krypton series that was announced like 2 years ago, we'll talk about that too. And just to throw out, don't forget that Before the Bat is part of the Batman Podcasting Network that's presented by Batman on Film. So if you want to hear more Batman talk, check that out. It's a cool site.
And you can always find me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am @nightwingpdp. Like Tyler said, Krypton Report, and is part of the Legends of DC, where we discuss Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. Check that out. And check me out on Nuff Said. I do a few shows over there, including the new Wade's World Deadpool podcast with Little Hellfire. Episode 1 is up. Check that out. We're going to be doing some weird stuff, weird, funny stuff over there. So, I guess that's it.
If it's comics, it's Southgate. It's Phil.
It's either you, me, or Lilith. Or any combination. Or Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie's out there too. But I advise everybody check out our Legends of DC Channel 52 podcast. If you just love good old DC conversation, you'll hear all of us intermittent as we talk about all the different shows, characters, and everything that's going on.
And for Marvel stuff, check out Nuff Said. I mean, we cover everything: shows, movies, comic books. I think there's even been talk about maybe covering some animation. So, your one-stop shop. All right, let's get
join the conversation.
Yes. All right. So
well, I see the bat signal shining, Phil.
Yes, I guess it's time to adjourn until next week. We'll have another episode next week. Next 2 weeks.
Time to suit up.
All right.
You put on your Batman armor. I'll slip on my Robin tights.
Thanks, people. All right, until next time. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
The Gotham Podcast.